My name is Mike Benson, and I am the Dean of Students here at Florida College, and I also teach a class each semester for the Education Department.
So the first question I have is, when did you start working for FC, and what was your reason for taking the job?
So I started back in the fall of 2015, and my background is in education, and so I was an administrator at a elementary school in Texas. And the last couple of years that I was doing that job, I was mentoring a lot of the teachers more, and we had some student teachers from a local university that had come on our campus, and I was helping out a little bit with that as well. And I really liked that aspect of the job more so than the administrative part, or I was starting to. And at some point in probably the fall of 2014, spring of 2015, a job opening came up at Florida College in the education department, and part of that was going to be able to that position was going to supervise student teachers. And again, that was really something I was thinking I really wanted to do. Anyway, lo and behold, the rest is history. I was able to interview and get hired, and that was the reason for coming down. So in addition to supervising student teachers, I also was able, of course, to teach courses as well in the education department. So, yeah.
So then, since you've been Dean of Students, what are some of the ways that you're able to balance enforcing the rules while also maintaining the relationships you have with students?
So I'm a firm believer in building relationships. And being in education now for about 25 years, I've learned that is like the first and foremost thing you really should be doing. As a teacher, as an administrator, as a professor, and then of course as Dean of Students. So first and foremost, I think that's important because I want to do that, but when you build relationships with students, they tend to respond better, they tend to respect you a little more. You kind of got, not that I need buy-in, but you got buy-in a little more from the students. Anyway, so that helps with enforcing rules, because if you've built that relationship, and you do have to, unfortunately, sometimes redirect students or discipline, it's never easy, but they tend to take it a little better because of the relationship that we've built. Now, there's plenty of students that I haven't built as close relationships as with others, but I've still learned that at least face to face, there's still a respect, because especially here at Florida College, all students have signed off on a code of conduct, and so they understand, even if they don't agree with all the rules, they understand that the rules are in place for whatever reason, and that if rules are broken, things are going to be enforced. So anyway, I've learned that the relationship building is important, and I think that's first and foremost. And again, that helps with enforcing, because the students, they know what to expect, and they understand that. So, yeah.
And then, what's been a surprising part of your work here?
So, I think that when I took the job of Dean of Students, I didn't realize, I knew, but you don't fully fathom it until you're in it, how much goes through the Dean of Students office. So I was making a list. I actually had this list during orientation, and so I want to show students like what all, when I make my presentation, I want to show them like what all they can come to our office for. But it's a lot, and it's great. I mean, it keeps you busy, and it's fine. But there is a lot. It's like housing, parking, SPGA, societies, organizations, meal plans, security, the safety and security of the campus, mental health issues. I mean, there's just so many different things. Alpha Club, orientation. Again, just the list kind of goes on, and that's fine, and that's great. But like I said, I didn't realize until I was truly in it, and it probably took a little while for that realization to come about. And so that's the most surprising part, is how much truly goes through this office, which means it's a lot of responsibility, and that's fine, and I'm up to the challenge. I've got great people that work with me, work for me, because I couldn't do it, definitely couldn't do it alone. So, but there's a lot that goes on with this particular office. So,
Well, we appreciate you doing
oh
it.
well, thank you.
And sort of in line with that,
Hmm.
you do have that class that you mentioned.
Yeah,
How does that affect all of your time management when you also have classes with the Dean of Students' responsibilities?
right. So it's not horrible. When I first started out, I taught 2 classes per semester. I shouldn't say I had 2 loads per semester. So one was a class, and one was continuing to supervise student teachers, and I did that for a couple years. And that was hard. The class part wasn't too bad. It was the supervising the student teachers, because you have to go to their school and observe them teaching about 3 or 4 times during the semester. Well, I had about 3 or 4 students, so that's times 4. That's about 12 times that you're off campus for about anywhere between an hour and 2 hours, just depending on where they are in the area. So. So at first that was hard, and then the last couple years I've been able to. Don't have to do the supervise, which I hate giving up, but it's necessary for this job. So all that to say, now it's a lot more manageable with teaching just 1 class per semester. The time factor is not as bad. There are some times where the dean's responsibilities, depending on what's going on. Whether it's important meetings, or maybe a student's in crisis, or because of certain time constraints with other things, with other variables. Sometimes I'll have to cancel class, which I don't like to do, but the students don't mind. But sometimes I have to cancel class because of the dean's position and the responsibilities. But overall, big picture, it's actually not too bad at all. If I have to grade any type of things, most of the time that might be done at home, like at nights or over the weekends.
Sure.
And luckily I love the students in my class. Fortunate that I don't have huge classes like the Bible professors or other things. So the time that it takes to truly grade certain things and read through essays or whatever, it's not horribly time consuming. So it's not too bad. So
Good.
yeah, it's manageable. So yeah.
Well, and then the last question I have is, what's your favorite thing about what we do?
Right. I say the people. The people is always going to be, for me, the best part. I'm very blessed to work at Florida College with the employees here. All the employees are Christians, and we all have a common goal of trying to be pleasing to our Lord, and of course our ultimate goal of heaven one day. And so that makes it really nice. I've been in environments where obviously not everybody has that goal in the public sector, and so public school system, and so even then there were some people that it was hard to be around. You just don't have the same values, and so very blessed to be able to work here with those people, and then the students as well. Just again the spiritual environment. Of course, there's always going to be flaws everywhere you go. We're not perfect people, but overall, the people that I get to work with, not only the people I get to work with as employees, but students as well, and just having that influence, it's such a great environment to be a part of. So that's easily my favorite part, just the people overall, whether it's the employees, whether it's the students. It's such a nice place to be. So yeah.
All right. Well, that's all I have.
All right.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you.